Now we're going to convert equations from rectangular into polar. So if I take a look at my polar coordinates transformations here, I have these four here that I'm actually working with. So notice here, since I'm taking x's and y's and turning it into polar, I'm going to deal with the last two here, if needed. Now again, I generally don't have to deal with this one here. Really, mainly, this is the one I use, and these I actually use sometimes too. So we'll figure out how that all works here together. All right. So if I look at this one right away, I know that r squared equals this whole side right here. So that whole thing is r squared. Okay. And what is x equal to? X equals r cos theta. So I'm just going to put that in for it, r cos theta. And there we go. We did the initial step, very simple. I'm just subbing in where I can, and that's what I end up with. Sometimes we have to be a little more creative, but this one we don't. So now we're not quite done yet, though, because I have an r on this side as well. I try to get it r equals some function of theta. So usually r equals some f theta. That's what I'm really looking for here for the most part. Okay, so anyways, so that means I'm going to subtract r cos theta from both sides. Now remember, I'm never going to divide by r. That doesn't work. I have to think of the idea of factoring, and that's why I'm moving everything over to the same side. So I get an r squared minus r cos theta equals 0. And I can pull an r out here. So that's what I'm going to do. So if I factor an r out, I'm going to get r minus cos theta. And that equals 0. So now I end up with two equations here. Either r equals 0 or r minus cosine of theta equals 0. So if r equals 0, I'm done. Don't really deal with that. Okay, and what it really comes down to is this one here. So I'm going to add cos theta to both sides. And I get r equals cosine theta. And this is the actual answer for this problem right here. The identically 0 r generally just kind of gets tossed away for the most part. So there's our answer.